Buzz, you tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack 'em. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things. MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong. History, and we good on that. Put Jilla on the track and we good on wax. 3, 2, 1. Everybody say Bulls on tap. Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty. Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery. Nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news. Go and subscribe. Hang out with Buzzy and Goose. Tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, and we're here to recap the Chicago Bulls' first victory of the year, 104-103, an overtime nail-biter against the Toronto Raptors. Before we get into this one, be sure to go to ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at On Tap Sportsnet, following Goose at Goose on Tap, and me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. Also, go to our YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Facebook or Twitter, please go to the YouTube, subscribe to YouTube, hop in the comment section, talk some shit. Some Bulls basketball here. Goose, they win. They get a win after probably one of the most odd games I've ever seen.
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what I was going to lead with. Probably one of the weirdest games start to finish. Some very poor officiating. You had 4 challenges between the two teams, and 3 of them were reversed, mainly bad charge calls. And then obviously you had all those DeMar fouls to end the game, 2 opportunities to tie the game and send it to overtime, and 1 at the very end there to seal the deal. But we still went to an extra quarter, extra 5 minutes of play here, and that wasn't any less sloppy. It was ugly all around. You had Chris Boucher running things for the Raptors in overtime with Podol and Precious Achiuwa both fouled out.
That's because they lost OG, correct?
Yep, OG did not return to this game after tweaking something in his leg or his ankle. He walked off the court and seemed to have fallen in the tunnel. And then we were just told that he was not going to return. Didn't really get too much of an update. Like usual, I was listening to the opposing team's broadcast, and I got to say, not that the Bulls deserve this win, but the amount of, I don't know if scrutiny is the right word, but the amount of comments made about the Bulls having a players-only meeting in which Billy was kicked out of the locker room after the first game by the Toronto broadcast was...
Oh, I'm sure that was the narrative. That was on
Pat McAfee. If you took a shot every time they mentioned it, you would have been drunk by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, they were talking about it on Pat McAfee. They're about, we got to watch the Bulls because they're everybody's favorite fucking train wreck. It's right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? It's so wild to me. The players only meeting, right? And do we even talk about that last episode? Or did that come out after we were already done?
That came out after, as well as the DeMar DeRozan extension and contract rumors that Shams was talking about, how the Bulls and him are very apart on years and numbers, and DeMar is unsure of the direction of the team. So pretty much overcame here. Yeah, exactly. But it is really funny to kind of see those kind of comments come out this early in the season, after a media day where you get the generic run of the, things are great, I'd love to stay here, I'd love to finish my career in Chicago, saying all the right things, but behind closed doors, there's clearly some tension there. But given the Bulls game tonight, it's kind of hard to argue that you shouldn't at least be in negotiations with the man, because he got the ball in every crunch time opportunity that was drawn up from an out-of-bounds play like usual. So, I guess we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, a win tonight, I guess, maybe helps right the ship, but in the fashion that they won this game, I can't say that anybody's really feeling too good about it.
Oh, I don't feel good. I heard about the fucking players-only meeting. My first reaction was, oh my God, what is everybody going to think about this? That was my first reaction, because I'm like, who gives a fuck? We know we suck already. They know we're bad. But, like, what are they going to say now? Because it's like one thing when you're bad and you just kind of scoot under that national radar. But it's another thing when you're fucking bad and everybody is talking that DEFCON 5 shit about you. And
What was like, kind of crazy to me, though, is OKC is a good team. So, obviously, in the fashion that they lost to them, obviously things needed to be talked about. But to go one game, have a poor second half in said game, and then really just kind of start digging into each other already is just crazy. And the fact that it came out and everyone's aware of it is just mind-blowing. Obviously, Bulls come out dead as a doornail, start this game atrociously, then go on a run and go up about 20. And then after that, the Raptors go on a 72-29 run.
They were up 15 or with fucking like 4:50 left.
It was like, looking a lot like the OKC game, except Billy didn't wave the white flag.
Yeah. I mean, he kept him in there at it, which is a fucking interesting call on the first night of a back-to-back, but okay, I know it was a winnable game, but dude, like, let's break down some nitty-gritty here. So first of all, I want to say this about the players-only meeting. Who do you think they're yelling at? Because I think there's two people within the starting lineup who are going to be held accountable for shit-ass performances and shit-ass effort. And I know Zach LaVine came away with that ball and had the game-winning assist, so the narrative of that game is going to be, since Alex Caruso hit three, was he made the right basketball play. First thing that you said when we got on the thing together here. My first reaction is like he was getting beat on defense just that prior play. Thank God it worked out the way it did, but he was getting yelled at by DeMar and Vooch again. What is going on in that players? I want to know what happened. What happened in that players-only meeting? Who was held accountable? Because Patrick Williams comes out, appears he has learned nothing. 13 minutes, Goose. 1 for 5, 1 for 4 from downtown, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. He has officially lost his job to Torrey Craig and Alex Caruso. Patrick Williams doesn't belong in the 10-man rotation. It's a fucking shame when we don't have anybody 6'7". He's like the only guy who's like 6'7", 6'8" on this team besides Vooch and Drummond.
Well, especially when you watch somebody like Scotty Barnes, who also came out of FSU the prior year in the similar draft slot, doing the things that he's doing for the Raptors with a 20-plus point triple-double tonight. To be honest with you, I was going to have to ask you, did Pat get hurt? What happened? I watched the game, and on the Toronto broadcast, they didn't touch on it too much. I'm sure the Bulls broadcast pointed it out quite a bit more with his lack of presence to kind of finish this game. But obviously, Caruso being in there was the right move on Billy's part. Had the game-winning defensive play and the game-winning shot, as well as kind of forcing the overtime period with that charge drawn on Siakam on the inbounds play in the fourth. So all around, Billy made the right decision in riding Caruso. But the fact that Pat has fallen so quickly to start this season behind a guy that's making a veteran's minimum, and obviously Caruso is an all-NBA player, but he's 6'5". He's not a power forward. You got a guard outplaying you at your spot, and you got a vet minimum guy outplaying you at your spot, and you're out here talking about a $200 million contract.
Dude, like, Caruso had 13 and 13. He had 13 and 13. I'm not happy, by the way, everybody in the fucking comment section. I'm not happy.
His Patrick Williams had 13 rebounds in a game in his career.
Yes, he had. I think he's got a career high of 17. But guess what we're going to do, dude? On the fucking second buzz screen in the buzz cave, I'm going to find out that information for you real quick. I'm just going to talk while I'm doing it.
I bet you he does not have more than 5 13 rebound games in his career.
Okay, now you're fucking getting deep in there, and I have been drinking, so I'm trying to, like, figure out, like, if I could find the actual – I need a fucking stat guy is what I need. That's what I need badly. All right, so rebounds. Okay, I was wrong. So his career high in rebounds is 14, and that is on 3/17/21 against the Spurs.
Okay, so we got at least one game with more rebounds than the 6'5" guard in there. That's got to count for something, right?
Yeah, we got at least one game, right?
Like $200 million?
Yeah, he's definitely, dude, he has really good dribble moves, and the form on his jump shot is just insane. He knows where to be on defense.
And what's crazy about this situation is we're going into the offseason with both DeMar and Pat needing contracts. Both of them, at least in my opinion, are arguably power forwards. I think that's more of where DeMar plays.
DeMar like 6'6".
Yeah, but given his defensive lateral
Position.
ability, he's easier to hide at the 4, even if you're saying that he's your 3. So our power forward spot is pretty wide open. Obviously, Craig's got that player option for next year, but if the season goes the way that we think it does, he's probably going to be looking to move to a contender as well. So
it's fucking 2 games in, but I mean, I'll tell you this now. He has made more of an impact on this team than Patrick Williams has. And he does not belong in the rotation anymore. He provides you nothing. He provides you a migraine.
I mean, the tough part here for the Bulls is when he's not playing up to performance and he's asking for this kind of money, he is a restricted free agent. So if they don't have much hope for their season, they can literally sandbag this dude to the point where he ain't looking at any kind of money. And that's kind of scary for him. And I don't think that's what's happening. I do think it's performance related at this point. But if Billy gives him the opportunity to start again tomorrow, Pat better do something. Or like you said, he is slowly going to slip his way out of this rotation. And on
Like
the topic
today.
of rotations, Io playing in the 4th quarter for like 4 minutes blew. Like, what is going on?
Plus 10 for Io to Sumu. Want to let you know that real quick. Plus 29 for Alex Caruso. Plus 2 for Javon Carter. Plus 1 for Andre Drummond. Unfortunately, our boy Torrey Craig -6 and Patrick Williams -7. So if you look at the plus minus, my argument does not look good right now. But still, fuck you. Okay.
Well, one guy played a lot more minutes and still contributed quite a bit more, regardless of what that plus minus says.
Yeah, like think about it, man. Like that's what that had to be about. And you look at this game and you see the guys that took over. Like, I mean, Zach got shut out there for a little bit. Like he was just kind of running to the corner. He was not very involved in the offense. Obviously,
He was
disengaged on D.
He was 2 for 13 before he had that dunk.
Right.
So
he went 3 for 14 tonight, Goose. 0 for 6 from downtown. 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He had 8 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, 3 turnovers. That's Zach LaVine's stat line for you tonight.
So do you think that's telling of who may have been pointed out in this players only meeting?
That's that. Yeah, I think it was Zach and Pat.
The highest paid guy on the team may have gotten called out and didn't necessarily respond tonight.
You see what the fucking problem is? I don't know if you know this or not, but the owner is kind of a jagoff. All right? And he has put these people in charge.
Well, no, and that's when I'm at the point of the game tonight where I'm convinced that we're losing. You know, we're down 14, 15 points with under 5 minutes left to go. Shit's hitting the fan. It's not feeling good. And all I'm sitting here thinking is, we just extended our front office. We just extended our head coach. We can't even take the easy route out like most fan bases and just fire somebody up top because we owe them so much money with the extensions that they just got for accomplishing nothing, a play-in win with 3 potential all-stars, and they all got extensions. So the only option you have if this season goes to crap, which despite this win, looks like is the direction that it's headed, is to blow this roster up.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, so it's like that situation watching the Bears game last Sunday. You got a QB who probably has no business in the league leading your team to a victory, and you're watching your draft pick stock go away. I feel like best case, we almost want losses. We want their handful.
Oh, here you go. He's starting his bullshit.
We want them to
people
look
are going to
so
tune out.
bad
They're
that
going
they
to tune
have
out.
to
They're not
do
going to want
it.
to be here. They're not going to want to be here because you want to lose. That's why. Because I want to lose too. Me too. Like, dude, I fuck them. I don't care what these people talk about other publications. Like, if they want to make you happy, I'll tell you the truth. Follow us, and we'll tell you the truth.
I want it to look so bad on the floor like it has these first 2 games for the first 20 games of the season that they are forced to do what they're supposed to do instead of just riding this continuity shit.
Okay, hang on. Before we go too deep in, we owe game beers to DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso. Would you agree with that? Because I do want to say I enjoy those guys, and they made some. DeMar had the huge 4th quarter, like you had mentioned. He missed those couple free throws, but whatever. If it wasn't for him, we're not in it, right? And then you have Caruso make the defensive play on the. I mean, that's a full turnaround play that's pretty fucking impressive. Awesome find by Zach to find him for the 3 and ship. But those two deserve flowers for today. They did awesome. That was fun to watch as you wanting your team to not suck ass, right? You know what I mean?
I don't know if any part of the basketball game that we watched tonight was necessarily fun outside of Alex Caruso hitting that 3. It was pure torture from officiating to half-court offense to 3-point shooting. This game was not pleasing to the eyeballs or the feelings. The only thing that ended up being positive was the Bulls somehow won.
Right.
With half the Raptors team fouled out or injured.
The other half fucking broken.
So I don't know. Like I said, I'm happy for the win. Obviously, It still feels better than the loss, especially given the performance that we had, because we'd be full DEFCON 5. But I'd be lying to say that I wasn't somewhat like I told you so happy to see them struggling so mightily again for the second game in a row at home to start this season.
I just I feel like we've come out this season, dude. Like for we 5 years now, we've been doing this, and it's fun. I love it. But this is the first time we're like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. This time I don't care. I've had enough of you. I can't handle it. I'm glad they're getting the wins, but they have a big test tomorrow because they have another lengthy team. They just played their stars. 38 minutes for Zach, 40 for fucking Kobe. He's a young man. He'd be all right. 40 for Vooch, 41 for DeMar. You're going, and then you got to go to Detroit.
And it's luckily that travel isn't too bad, but that is a very young team.
Yeah, and they're big, dude. They're strong, they're big, strong dudes over there. Isaiah. Look at their center, Isaiah Stewart. He's a beast. They got Jalen Duren in there. He's a beast. Stewart's hitting 3-pointers now. Did you know that?
I did not.
He's hitting 3s now. Oh, they're fucked. Their bench, dude. Alec Burks off the bench. Yeah, oh my God. They're going to be all right. That's going to be a tough game tomorrow. But they're also coming off a back-to-back, but they played Charlotte. And Charlotte's pretty fucking horrible.
And they didn't go to overtime.
No, they didn't go into overtime, no.
So a younger team with fresher legs and probably the more physical team of the two.
Yeah.
Regardless. So not necessarily a fun matchup. Obviously, we'll be back tomorrow night to cover that. I guess let's hope the Bulls start stringing some wins together. Just for the sake of being a fan and wanting them to win. But I don't know. This season just has such a weird feeling to it. Your best player, the guy that you relied on in the fourth quarter, is owed a contract that you can't really give him because it just locks you in and screws you long term. And the guy that you did give the contract to has had 2 atrocious games to start the season, despite claiming that he's 100% healthy and doesn't have the excuse to the slow start to the season that he had last year for this one. So it's just a very weird spot to be in. And for the players, I can imagine that it's a similar feeling. Like you're coming into work, you really don't know when it's your last day living in Chicago, especially if you're somebody like Caruso, who is going to be a hot commodity around.
Yeah, he will be at the deadline for sure.
Based on his contract being right around $10 million, that's really easy to move, and the impact he makes on a game is clear. And tonight was a prime example of that. So for these guys that actually know that they have value and they bring productive things to a basketball court, this has got to be a weird setting to be in, because you know that your team isn't as good as they claim to want to be. And as you see that falling short, your time here probably is coming to an end as well.
If you had a guess who'd be the first one to go, just if you're bullshitting for a minute.
I think it has to be Caruso, just because his contract is that easy to move, and I don't think there's a single playoff team or contender in the league that wouldn't make the phone call. You think you get the most value
for that trade too? You know what I'm saying? The higher, if you break down a trade where you're trading Zach for another superstar or something, that's kind of even or whatever. I think you'll probably get a little bit of value. Trading Caruso will bring you something back that you probably wouldn't expected when you signed him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, well, you're going to get positive value for Caruso. Might have to take a poor expiring contract back, which would probably be the ideal situation, where you're just getting dead money to go into the offseason with some free agency cash and some draft assets, or a player like Jonathan Kuminga would be awesome as well.
That'd be so fucking dope, dude. But I doubt Caruso would go over there now. They got CP3 guard heavy.
Still a completely different aspect. Obviously, they like their Gary Paytons and that kind of stuff over there as well. So, like you said, with the addition of CP3 and having Steph, obviously, the need for a guard, or not the crew. I wouldn't even consider him a ball handler, but he can play power forward.
That's true. He can. He can do it better than our starting power forward.
Yep.
You want to hear a fun fact before we get out of here?
What is that?
I'm gonna be up in your neck of the woods tomorrow, dude. I'm getting my cow and my pig.
Yeah?
Fuck yeah, dude. We got a full cow and a full pig coming, dude.
And you're getting them from Rockford?
Roscoe.
Okay, yeah, that's only about 15, 20 minutes away.
Yeah, but I can throw a rock and hit you though.
Yeah,
you know I'm coming to get my motherfucking meat supply, dude.
Coming to get your meats.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna be sweet. And then I'll come home, and then I'm gonna cook something, and then I'm gonna watch the Bulls game, and then I'll be right here with you tomorrow night again.
Wow,
because
I get to hear
we do
more
back
about
to
your
backs
meat
right
tomorrow.
now because we're excited that we're back. You know,
I get to hear more about your meat tomorrow, and you make pickles now. So if the Bulls happen to put a win streak together, we're gonna have a variety of pickle juice flavors to choose from to chug this year.
Dude. Juice just said no. Dude, my fucking chat popped off and it started going really fast. And I apologize, but I did miss some things. But I did see something that was really funny. I got to throw that on there. Where's that at? I can't find it now because I have been. What the fuck? Hey, buddy. Why don't you. Juice? People do care about my fucking cow.
Do we think Zach LaVine has a bounce back game tomorrow night? 20+ points guaranteed? Or are we having another blooper?
Well, considering he's the highest fucking paid player on the team, I would consider, he better have a bounce back game tomorrow night. He definitely needs to, no doubt about it. Do I think he does? No.
No, I think he does. I think he rides that rare, smart basketball decision instead of going hero ball mode at the end of the game in the next game. And
I think his spirit's broken.
I don't know. It's really hard for me to hate on Zach. He's such a charismatic, good person. Not much of a leader in terms of, leadership on the basketball court, but to be just kind of a prototypical face of a franchise, at least in outward appearance and media kind of approach, to be tossed around in trade rumors all off season and to have to come into the season and, announce your home opener and act like everything's great and candy and then DeMar DeRozan's still getting the ball all the time in crunch time. It's like, cool. So I get to carry the torch, I get the paycheck, but I really don't get the responsibilities, and I don't have the security of actually knowing that my job is safe here either. So it's really hard for me to be too critical of Zach because I think his situation has sucked since he got here. Obviously, he could make it better by living up to the contract, which hopefully we see, but I do have a little bit of a soft spot for the dude just because he is a good guy.
Oh, he's a great guy. He's in my top 7 favorite Bulls. On the team currently, not all time. On the team currently. So, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that real quick. I don't hate Zach. I say it every episode. Zach's all right. He just, superstars don't do that. And he, a couple times he got a little too cocky. And I think he's really coming back down to earth now. It's every fucking night in the NBA, dude. If you want to be a superstar, it's every fucking night. This kind of shit where you're doing what you did is pretty much unacceptable for a max contract player. This is 2 games back to back. We don't see that often with fucking real good guys, upper tier guys doing that shit. So I feel like that's another problem with this team. It lacks an identity because you don't know who the killer is. This isn't the 2003 fucking Pistons here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's a clear cut when the NBA today, when you win a championship, you usually have a clear cut best player on the court on the other team. You know what I'm saying? So like, hopefully Zach turns it around tomorrow, does okay, but Detroit's going to be a tough test. Chicago's guaranteed nothing in this division. So,
if they've proved anything in these first 2 games is that nothing is going to be a gimme this year.
Right. So you got any final last words before I start playing some PGA Tour 2K23?
No, I'm gonna go get some good sleep. I'm gonna try to go into tomorrow's game with a positive mindset, and hopefully the Bulls don't have to have a players only meeting after a ugly win, and they handle their business tomorrow against a team in Detroit, despite the back-to-back that they should beat. So, well, let's hope for the best, and maybe we get something a little more visually acceptable to watch tomorrow night.
Absolutely. Everybody, be sure you're going to ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Tomorrow night, YouTube, after the Bulls play the Detroit Pistons. We'll be live again. Come and hang out at the post-game show, talk some shit with everybody. It'll be a good time. Until then, let's go Bulls.